Oh, welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is The Schiller. Today is Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. Welcome on in. If this is your first time joining, we talk about the Web3 and NFT space because we love it. And we think a lot more people are going to love it. And there's an opportunity to potentially be historians kind of in a way, or at least have the the VODs to prove it, barring that YouTube lasts forever. Anyway, let's get into the different headlines. Of course, NFT, Web3, real world assets, checking out Google, which apparently there's some big news about Google and the way that their search engine and everything else is changing. But the top headlines, the ones yesterday, were horrible. NFT, what is Mint and how to potentially qualify for the Mint airdrop. Okay, some random show from CoinGecko. Bankless times. Which country buys the most NFT? Oh, listen, that's crazy. Okay, so number 1, United States. Number 2 is Germany. Number 3 is United Kingdom. And number 4, oh, Canada. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Very interesting. What a headline. We're going to mention that forever. For Web3, Saudi Arabia becoming hub for Web3 startups seeking investment. Web3 casinos amassed $5 billion in crypto from 4,000 wallets in 2023 alone. Oh my God, what an article. We'll jump into that in just a moment. For real world assets, top 10 real world asset tokenization platforms. We'll take a quick peek at that as well. And this is just kind of a way to help people onboard. And that's one of the big notions that I'm noticing within this year is the platforms are getting created to help others build seamlessly on it, if that makes sense. And then the other ones, these are just kind of down the road. But the top 10 real world asset tokenization platforms you should know, one of them being InvestaX to license real world asset tokens, which all these things seem to be just like you have an asset, you work with us, we're partnered with like 500 billion people, seen in every book and show possible, licensed by the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Listen, everybody's getting these licenses. Spydra here with another one I was showing how you can take your vehicles, real estate, bonds, put it in the platform. Then you have tokenization versions of them for public and private chains. Kind of interesting. And then the final one here, the standard tokenization process can be painfully slow and extremely expensive for the average user. Well, I think most people have no idea how to even freaking start with that. But this one being TokenFi, which I feel like we've had a number variations of TokenFi. If you remember, there was like a website that was blue labeling. They were going to have different NFT launches from it. There was like 3 that ended up happening. One of them was some kind of skeleton collection, and then it went absolutely nowhere. But the headline we like on this one, the tokenization and RWA market is projected to be $16 trillion by 2030. Holy smokes. Okay, looking at the trading collections here on OpenSea, Courtyard, Honeycomb, Evergreen, Pepin edition. We got Lil Pudgies on there. Again, this is OpenSea. This isn't the other ones. Crypto V1 punks. I thought these were an ETH. I guess ETH crashed, and so now we're up a little bit. What in that? Alibit is going on. World of Women down here. They're just showing some other different notable collections. Parallel avatars 0.29. Bored Apes hovering around 10 ETH. Pudgies 8.55. Man, the market's been super, super interesting. But the article we looked at just a moment ago with a crazy, crazy, crazy headline saying Web3 casinos amassed $5 billion in crypto from 4,000 wallets in 2023 alone. Unbelievable headline. Let's rip through this article as fast as possible. On-chain data shows that around 4,000 wallets enriched Web3 casinos and gambling websites with $5 billion worth in crypto in 2023. Web3 casinos and gambling platforms seem to be making enormous wealth as only 4,000 Ethereum wallets deposited $5 billion worth of crypto in 2023 alone, data from Chain Analysis shows. And I want to kind of take your mindset back. If you weren't necessarily there, it might be a little bit harder, but there was a ton of different platforms that were getting large streamers that were offering just crypto gambling as a whole. And clearly, the people that they brought in weren't mass amounts of users or anything, but the people that put something in there, well, they put a decent chunk. The New York headquartered blockchain forensic company revealed in an August 5th blog that high-frequency players make an outsized impact on Web3 gaming businesses, transacting on average $7,000 worth of crypto. While the number of crypto whales emerging within Web3 casinos is relatively small, their financial contributions are immense. Approximately 500 such whales, each sending around 25,000 in crypto on average, collectively transferred 320 million in 2023, showing a stark disparity between the contributions of casual players and VIP clients. Now, not going through the entire rest of it, but this is nuts. Here's a quick infographic. Active Web3 casino players on-chain demographics. The 4,000 wallets sending over 100,000 in the past year. They're saying over 100,000, but the other one was billions. What is going on? 80 million held in a balance, 7,000 average, and then 5 billion sent to Web3 casinos and gambling sites in the last year. Kind of insane to think about. Not sure if any of you have messed around with those platforms, but curious if you have any takes on that. If you have, NFT Drew, just kind of giving our typical reminder, something that I haven't mentioned in a while, and I feel like I have the obligation to remind you that everybody is trying to scam you. True. So be extra careful. And just ignore DMs from people if you don't know them. If they're trying to be your friend, listen, I'll just be your friend. If somebody hits you up, you're like, no, nice PFP, tell them to get bent and don't worry about it. You know what? I'm just kidding. Do not do that. If they're friendly, you can say hi, but they ask you to download anything. They ask you to go to anywhere, unless you have an extensive repertoire of communication with them. And even then, have your doubts, because there's a lot of things going on. We'll jump back into this in a little bit. But they're talking about social engineering. Listen, just be aware and you will do phenomenally. Citizen Conflict. Haven't heard about this game before, but it is a blockchain-based game that's got a token to it. Just highlighting a quick little video from it to give you kind of an idea as we are comparing and contrasting all the games, because it feels like the narratives are starting to shift. What is going to be the next big thing? As soon as the markets crashed, well, it felt like everybody started talking about, well, we're here for gaming, so it doesn't matter what the prices are. And mate, here's another one, just a kind of a crypto game, quick little glance at what it looks like. Doesn't look too bad whatsoever. It feels like we're moving on a little bit more from kind of those pixelated games. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that whatsoever, but it does feel like we have more of a not hyper realistic type view, but it feels like there's, you know, there's a little bit more than just kind of like your typical games, where this one does look like it's got a lot of different interactions and whatnot in it, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we all opened the show there talking about gambling and all that other stuff with crypto, right? And so there was this thing that came out about Aiden Ross, who's like this big streamer, and he said that he lost over $40 million due to the crypto crash. And so there was this back and forth there that they had, and there was an interesting clip. I'm not going to play it, but Los Pollos, who's Loss is another streamer, and he brought up the fact of like, man, why don't you just hold that in like USDT? And I've watched a whole bunch of streamers, and I've tweeted about this a while ago. If you guys happen to follow me, where we had Zuma, we had different League of Legends players, which Zuma's not League of Legends, it's Call of Duty, but all these people that I watched, and they're all bringing up crypto. They're talking about it like it's completely casual, and every single one of them seemed to know all the jargon, know what they were saying. And I'm like, holy hell, the people that I watch that are like rather big names are all in this stuff. I barely know anybody in my personal life, like IRL, right, that is into this whatsoever. But the people that I watch that are engaged online all the time, I'm like, holy smokes, yo, de-ramified, what is going on? Have you ever messed around with a crypto casino? That is a question of the day. Hope you're doing well, boss. But yesterday, $1.2 billion were liquidated from the cryptocurrency market because of the crash. And of course, now when you go check out the charts, well, it looks like we kind of had a little bit of a V shape. You guys can't see that part on the screen, son of a gun. We had like the huge dips, but again, we're having a bounce back, so it's not as bad, but the leverage trading is not going fantastically. Okay, we got some fun on the timeline. Why do we have fun on the timeline all the freaking time. This Todd guy is saying, wow, Artifact did everything to succeed. Nike acquisition, top tier artists, brand recognition, innovation, hype, top quality merch. They blew it all up, $1 billion brand, now completely obliterated. Is there any hope left? Now, for argument's sake, I feel like we have a huge problem across the entire space, right? Like at a point, I mean, we could even argue the Gutter Cat Gang had like some kind of a brand presence, and now I feel like they have nothing. There's massive arguments about Bored Ape Yacht Club of, okay, the celebrities are gone, but there's kind of indie people that are building out these collections, the whole Made by Ape thing, and oh, it doesn't have the same pizzazz of it. Oh, Cool Cats was in the Macy's Day Parade, but then, we're kind of aware of it, but half the timeline's just like crucifying them for certain days. Like it's all over the place, right? I think that everything that's a Web3 brand of some sort right now has gotten a huge amount of backlashes, and one of the main focal points for that is a lot of people feel like they got completely burnt from things when the company company sold different NFTs for, let's say, like Cool Cats at like 0.03 ETH. Suddenly they're going upwards of like 25 ETH when ETH's relatively high, and it's like $100,000. People are buying it, people are selling it, and it's completely based off speculation. And then it comes down even harder because unless they raised a whole bunch of money where, there's certain harshnesses that are put out in the space where for like Moonbirds and Proof, okay, they got like 50 to 100 million investment on top of the mass amount of sales they did. They did the Proof passes, yada, yada. They have a whole bunch of money. You were surprised why there wasn't more things that happened with it. But other things, it's just kind of the way that is. Now, for Clone X here, I mean, 0.235 floor is pretty damn good. Remember, this is a collection out of like 20,000. It's not a collection out of 10,000. And there's still a lot of people that care about what Artifact is doing. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of Project Animus, but I think, we got to be kind of like, open-minded for certain things. Okay, Izuki, they posted a new short. Let me know what you think. Okay, so kind of funny, but this is like the type of thing that I was surprised more collections didn't do. Just short animated bits or some kind of engaging pieces of content. But from the Izuki account, meet Mizuki. Our first mini shorts introduce Mizuki, Elemental 9195, a carefree member of the water domain. This short form social first content builds on the Izuki universe and will reach new audiences with moments from Mizuki characters' stories. Again, kind of small, but kind of neat at the same time. And they're just wanting to have user-generated content as a whole. Curious what exactly that means. Like, is this all done for Mizuki? How are they going to do this when there's like 20,000 elementals? There's a whole bunch of Izukis on top of that. How do you get all the holders the attention that they feel they deserve? That's the question. And Zagabond, founder of Izuki, responding to somebody saying they raised 40 million and giving 3D art. He says, we're giving an anime anthology by onboarding legends to Web3 like Goro Taniguchi. We're giving mobile shorts by dope indie anime artists like Yasuda Gensho. And we're giving 20 million plus views on socials and representing Web3 anime. Very interesting from the perspective standpoint of no matter what you like, even if you dislike a certain collection, it's getting eyeballs out there, and the Web3 of blockchain integration is just going to kind of go on the back burner, I think, or maybe it gets pushed up to the front and people are like, oh, hold on, what is this? Maybe this is something cool that we want to partake in. And Calio saying the entire timeline went from it's over to we're so back in 3 hours. LOL, never change. Definitely feel like in the stream yesterday, we were like, wow, the market's over. And I'm by no means an expert. We're just, looking at the news and kind of having a good chuckle about things. But there are some people that are like, we're going to get whipsawed. Things are going to go way higher. And then it's going to crash, and there's just all these different viewpoints. And it's funny because I don't think there is a single consensus on the timeline as of right now. Now, I believe this is over, but yesterday was the last chance to pick up the Doodles TV Super Pass. They ended up selling 17,000 of them. So for like a calculator here, if we do, what was it, like $6 times 17,000. So they made $102,000 yesterday selling these passes. Yeah. Again, Doodles Super Pass Season 1 unlocks early access to the following premier events, early listening and viewing access to 3 music videos before they hit streaming platforms, featuring music produced by Pharrell Williams, viewing access to 1 animated special ahead of its global release, 4 pieces of on-chain artwork with varying levels of rarity, featuring each artist. Purchases of this digital collectible are subject to Doodles Digital Collectibles Media License Agreement and Terms of Service. Again, kind of cool. Just collectibles of things. I'm curious if this is going to end up having like any kind of like significant value. I'm going to assume not. But again, 102,000 of these things out there. Well, so wait, hold on. No. Hold on a second. So it's $102,000 they got from it, but there's only 17,000 owners, but it doesn't say how many owners there are, how many passes there are. Because again, listen, it could be me buying and then somebody bought 16,999. We're okay at math, trust. And so with that, actually, yesterday was my first time really trying to check out Base, where it was trying to push me to download the Coinbase wallet, but I noticed they had a merch section in there. So one of the MFers, I guess they like threw the logo on there, Base on chain. I have no idea what in the heck these different things are, except maybe it's just like memes and whatever, but it's, we got Pepe hoodies. I don't know. For merch, I was expecting a little bit more engaging stuff from Coinbase, but it is what it is. If anybody missed it, holy smoke, some rare fluffs going for a bag. One of the Avatar ones, 1.8 ETH. Whoa. What a huge sale. Speaking of Futureverse, Aaron McDonald was speaking at the bank, speaking to the Bank of New Zealand, talking about the next generation of payments and loyalty. Very interesting. First, the banks say, we hate crypto, and then they're like, hold on, how can we take advantage of it? Unbelievable. Drew Austin, 211,000. 211,000. Graded Victor Wembanyama. Basketball cards. Wow. God knows how many more exist, yet people want to make NBA Top Shot the devil. I'll keep minding my business and collecting my Wembies on Top Shot on-chain with proof of exactly how many mints there will be of Wemby rookie moments. Now, back when we were massive Top Shot bulls, I agree. And I mean, even right now, I think that we don't know what the hell the printing press in person is for these things. And having 200,000 of something when you can't even like verify or know how many more are going to get put out there, how many shady happenings go on behind the scenes. Or the blockchain, there is that transparency. So as always, there is absolutely a real need for this transparency. Lemon saying, fix your posture and drink some water. Okay, good point. Be sure to join me on such as well while you're here. Okay, a Bored Ape Blue Beam going for $100,000. We're back. Right? TRUEY. Otherwise, 40 ETH. And then we got Chromie Squiggles here. And Steve is highlighting how they're at the lowest they've been in pretty much forever on here. Pretty crazy chart. And this goes back to the notion, and this is affecting like all markets, right? Like this isn't just like a specific thing to Squiggles, but the narrative here, right, is the historic art. Yeah, Brewster. What's going on? How you doing, brother? Yeah, we've been doing League every night, and this guy's just absolutely not showing up. Unbelievable. But the historic art thing, the historic narrative, we've talked about it like it's good in a market that's like just moving, and there's people that don't really know what they want to get, but they want to buy something on chain. You use these narratives of, oh, it's historic, but do you care about generative art? Do you care about Snowfro? Do you care about these things, or do you just care because other people are saying, oh, this is historic and you care about it, right? It's just food for thought. Nothing against Steve, nothing against Scriggles, because this happens for everything, right? Curio cards is another example of people that had those narratives of, this historic, and it is for a point, but does that necessarily mean these are a place to store value? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this morning, if you missed it, well, listen, that's okay, Brewster. But now if you want to listen back, we did do a Spaces today with a segment. We had Ray and Tyler on from RWA World and Matt from Segment, and we talked with Divin Labs. So if you are a drinker of wine and are interested in learning more about the tokenization of things, the platform's doing it, the protocol is getting set up for it. It was an awesome conversation, and I have retweeted, not this one, but a different one that's on my page. page if you follow me on X. Would love for you guys to go check that out. Or if you're wanting to hear more from kind of RWA perspectives, if you check the description below or in my X bio, the RWA Segments podcast. We just launched one this morning with Andrea Maelli from The Colony, which is like the big blast, graded tokenized collectibles platform that's now called Beezy. So if you didn't know, they rebranded to Beezy. It's not The Colony anymore. Who knows? I should be back tonight. I've been at it down. Hell yeah, Brewster. And then again, on the topic of scams, alert, this guy's a scam. Lost all my money in my wallet today. Again, just for anybody that's not seen, this person says at Web3 Volt. It's got like 1.5 thousand followers. Their bio is nothing insane, except it does mention a former software engineer at Google. And it's saying that it's a collector in some of the big NFT collections. Now, I don't know how half of these happen. I feel like they reach out and they're like, oh, I want to buy your picture. And you're like, why do you want to do that? But people are just like, sure, why not? But this looks like they had some kind of thing where they had to download, launch it. Probably that was the culprit right there. So again, be careful out there. Okay. Pac-Man from Blur and Blast. This one is a doozy, and holy smokes, so people said some interesting things regarding it. So Blast has gotten blasted, for lack of a better term, with the downfall of the token or it not going up in value. Listen, when expectations are completely out of whack and you let narratives run, which a ton of collections back in the day did, like Cool Man's Universe. Oh, we're partnered with Disney. Oh, we're not. Boom, everything bad. Listen, if you're a founder out there and there's some narratives that are going out of control, you got to stop that stuff or you're gonna get absolutely rinsed in the streets. So Pac-Man saying, as a builder, I tend to stay heads down as it allows me to ship faster. But I hear you guys that this mindset is suboptimal for an ecosystem perspective. At the end of the day, I think shipping always moves the needle more than talking, but as an ecosystem, it's important that the whole community is rowing in the same direction. We'll be making a number of changes to communicate more and be more accessible to builders and users. P.S. Gold distribution tool will be shared this week. It will always be shared in the first week of every month, in which Zir is responding saying, unpopular opinion. When a founder starts saying this, it means it's all downhill from here. Try to recall when you last heard this from your favorite founder. Again, it's always interesting. You like transparency on the timeline, but at the same time, you're like, what the hell is going on? So Paul Barron, who does a great show, highly recommend you checking him out, give him a follow. He says, this dip, correction, and crash are bad. One of the worst in financial history. If you are a crypto faithful, what altcoins are you willing to hold through this? And this John Curtin individual responded saying, Link is $8 billion and makes like $500 a day in CCIP fees. Not feeling great about that one. So if you've been watching the stream for a little bit of a while, who's been saying, well, listen, I don't understand why people are saying stuff that's 500 million to $1 billion plus is undervalued. Oh yeah, right. This guy, unbelievable. So I don't know. Obviously the market's rebounded a little bit, but it is crazy that we have the top 100 at as insane market caps as we do, when half the time you ask any individual user that's actually using the damn chains and whatnot is like, yeah, I don't know what that does. Yeah, never heard of that one. Sure, whack me, right? Like there is so many things that feel like they're priced as if this was all massively adopted. At the same time, we have people that are out on the timeline saying, oh, guys, all the old guard is dead. It's only the new NFTs we want to be paying attention to. Then why are we talking so highly about the old friggin' crypto out there, the blockchains, the protocols, whatever else? And you're not saying, oh, the new stuff's going to take over. Like, it's so ridiculous when you sit back for a second and see the different takes on the timeline. And so, again, I mean, Link can absolutely do well, but again, at $8 billion, holy sheesh. Now, to end things on a good term here, look at this Pokemon card. Look at that. Look at how nice, crispy, and clean that Pokemon card is. Why can't we all just buy Pokemon cards and enjoy? You know what I mean? Listen, we got them. We got the unknown. You guys play the Pokemon Go Fest the other day? Not a bad experience. All right, cool. That's it. We're done. Yo, Ramify, Mr. Unar, the one and only Ziggs. One trick Well, no, he's got a 2 trick. He can play whatever he wants, but he just picks 6. That's the way it does. Anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning on in. That's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. If you enjoy this and you're wanting more and to see the fear and panic as of yesterday, of course, go and check out the stream from yesterday under the live section on YouTube or on X. They rechanged the stuff now, and it's like it just says like broadcast and it's a link. It looks scuffed, but it's there. Trust. No, you're the best. You're the best.